ground so clean.
The heart and soul of the Cayman people. Thank you for keeping the culture alive.
There's read the news every day. From East End to Georgetown, down into West Bay.
Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands.
And now, The Business Buzz, an insightful and fresh take on a variety of issues that impact the local business environment. This is where we address the business topics that matter. Here's your host, Sabrina Turner.
Good morning, Cayman, and welcome to Radio Cayman's Business Buzz. I'm your host, Sabrina Turner. The Business Buzz is brought to you every Tuesday and Thursday from 7:30 until approximately 9 a.m. and is proudly sponsored by Cayman Medical Supplies. Give them a call, 949-6211, and also by Cayman Insurance Center. Celebrating 45 years in the Cayman Islands, specializing in property, life, and other lines of insurance products and services. We have two segments today. Our first segment, we put the spotlight on a new book, Carrying His Heart, by author Felix Manzanares, who's with me in studio. After the 8 o'clock news and weather update, we put the spotlight on Royal Cayman Islands Police Services as we hear more about crime statistics reports, burglaries and robberies, traffic, and community watches. Without further ado, good morning, Mr. Manzanares. Pleasure to have you on our show.
Thank you for inviting me and being here. It's awesome. Thank you so much.
Yes, great things are happening for you. But before we delve into Carrying His Heart, your book, please share with our listening audience a little bit about yourself.
Well, my name is Felix Alfonso Gustavo Manzanares. I'm very diverse. I'm from here. I've been doing ministry in the sector, preaching and teaching for quite some time now. In the last 2 or 3 years, I've formed a ministry called Journey Ministries Cayman. So if you have Facebook, you probably see me post my message there. It's a growing community of believers, just excited to just impact people with the love of God. That's been awesome. And for me, before I used to work at the Church of God and worked in the finance industry before and just get my hands in a couple of things, particularly just anything where I can help and support my society. So it's been a journey of just growing and developing as an individual and making a positive impact in my homeland, you know.
Excellent. But I'm quite sure people look at you as knowing you for who you are, but at the end of the day, you are human.
Yes, I am.
You don't give up. But let's hear more about what made you throw your heart into writing this book and become an author.
Yeah, well, I've never dreamt of being an author. My wife probably listening, Dorothy, she's like, Felix, you got to write books and sell millions of copies so I can staying at home. And I'm like, well, babe, we're not million, we're a couple hundreds now, but we'll see what happens. But I felt like in order to impact culture, in order to leave a legacy, you need to write. You have to be a resource so people can grab a hold of it. And I saw that as my community grows in my church, as my kids getting older, there's things that I want them to know about me, about my journey, about my life, and hopefully there's aspects of it to be a blessing to others. So I started putting pen to paper and think about, wow, what is impacting my life now? What have I learned at 33 years old? And it's how to carry God's heart and how to overcome challenges that life will bring to me and bring to anyone as we grow in the perfect love that He has for us individually. And that's just been a journey that I'm constantly pursuing, and I've seen impact the community that I lead and journey. And so we continue to grow on this whole aspect of just carrying God's heart and loving people well.
Excellent. So let's talk about the process of gathering the information, which obviously has come natural because a lot of this is what you have actually gone through. You've just put it in book form. But having the manuscript edited and getting the book to where it's at now, where it's published.
Yeah. Well, it was a process. I remember my goal was to write probably 1,200 words a week, you know, and then I remember when I got 3,000 words down, I was like, I won a Grammy, whoa. But because I never really, obviously as a minister, as a preacher, you prepare, you write notes, but it was a journey, just how do I tweak it? How do I communicate it and put it in a language that's easily accessible, that impacts my potential audience and my current audience, And then how do I invite people into that process? And so the inviting people into that process was hard because as a creator, when you bring people in to edit, to give feedback, it's a part of your heart. So you feel like, oh man, I've got to tweak this again. And I just put my best out there. But it's been a journey of growth through that. And then when I considered about publishing it, I said, well, for my first book, I want to do a self-publishing, and I want to connect with a company that can help that process move further, faster. And my publishers, Lulu, has helped me with that. And I'm proud of the product that I now have in front of me.
Definitely. And for those of you who are streaming live now, I'm going to hold this book up. It says, Carrying His Heart, How to Receive and Release the Father's Heart. Eh?
Yeah.
And it's a soft
Yeah, it's
cover.
an easy read too.
It's very easy. And I opened it and it went straight to, who can prophesy?
Yeah.
And I'll only read the first paragraph under that subheading. This may startle you, but you can prophesy. Yes, you. I am not trying to boost your confidence, but it's important that you understand that the intent of God, the Father, is to reveal His heart, His thoughts, and His will, for you, and through you. Now, Felix, it's as though you're talking. Who's supposed to get that message this morning?
Everyone.
I'm sure has gotten it.
Everybody needs an upgrade in how God sees them, because that's why I wrote the book, because even people that are Christians, that's 60% of my audience right here that I'm trying to contact with this book and connect with. But I feel like we don't know who God is. Mm-hmm. We know Him information. We we know, okay, Cayman was discovered 1503. We know that Trump is the current president, but we don't know Trump. And so I find out that if I talk to people about God and their experience with God, they cannot relate to me the impact He's had on their life, and be with authenticity, not just a lecture. And so when you really see how God sees you, that confidence in your life, that approach to love people well, even in the aspects of offense and overcoming challenges, is awesome. And how do you going to impact other people if first your position and your view of yourself is negatively skewed? So if you're operating from a negative skewed perspective of yourself, that's going to flow into every environment of your life. Mm-hmm. And so I want to upgrade people's process of believing in themselves, how God sees them, that they value, that they're loved through the lens of the Father. And then once you get that lens upgrade, it's like you could actually see your environment, people differently, and correspond with that from the heart of God.
You even have a part in here, it says quick tips. You can hear God for yourself and for others. Mm-hmm. As a child of God, you can hear your Father. He speaks through the Holy Spirit living within you. Romans 8:14 says, the mature children of God are those who are moved by the impulse of the Holy Spirit.
Yeah. Well, think about it this way. This is how I look at it. People who are mothers and fathers, or even big brothers and big sisters, you know when your sibling or your child is crying. Mm-hmm. Correct?
Yes. Yes, it's the feeling.
It's like you could be in a mall and they get lost. Help!
Something.
And you can hear that voice. But God has wired us already to know His heart. Because God doesn't speak in English or Spanish or any other language. He speaks in our spirit. And so when He speaks in our spirit, those impulses, those mindsets, you ever gone to do something like, wow, where did this idea come from? And you saw the fruit of that? God is always speaking, but we're not always listening. And He's already wired us to hear Him. And so it's just a matter of just upgrading and tweaking and actually tuning into His heart already for you, that He's already releasing on a daily basis.
Welcome to Radio Cayman's Business Buzz. I'm your host, Sabrina Turner. We put the spotlight on a new book, Carrying His Heart, by author Mr. Felix Manzanares, who's live here in studio with me, telling us more. Now, what makes, in your opinion, a good book?
Oh, man, is it practical? Is it applicable? Because one of the things with Christian books, right? And also when you ever been to a church and the preacher keep on preaching? Mm-hmm. Well, you got to know when to end. Yes. And I feel like in theological books or Christian books or inspiring books and encouraging books, self-helps and stuff like that too, sometimes they go on and on and on. And now you're impacted with all this information, but how do I relate that? So if you look at the end of every chapter, whatever thought process, whatever mean point I'm carrying my readers through, there's an activation. And activation is just a simple personal assignment that you could put into practice what you just learned. Mm-hmm. And so one of the things I ask people to do is imagine that you were actually receiving a gift right now, and that God was sending a UPS guy or a FedEx guy. You know, you ever been in your office and you get the courier, your FedEx come, and you're not even expecting it, but it's what you need on time.
Right.
So I said, hey, why don't you dream of that? Why don't you imagine that? Because the biggest nation in the world is the imagination. And so I said, imagine that. And as people walked through that process, I literally got an upgrade because I was away writing the book. I went on vacation. And the minute I said, imagine if you're a UPS guy, guess who was at my door?
A UPS.
A UPS guy. Literally, as I finished, I'm like, God, this is crazy. And so then I received the gift and I said, open the box. Pretend like you're opening a box from God. What does it say? And when I did my own activations, it said I was amazing. And I said, wow, wouldn't it be awesome if you actually zone in and lead from and live from how God sees you. God knows that you're amazing, Sabrina. And if we walk from that standpoint, then anything happened in my day, God already told me I'm amazing.
Right.
It's okay.
Right.
The bill's not paid yet. God told me amazing. So there's an amazing bill that's going to be paid. You know, it's building up that. So yeah, I feel that having a practical book, an easy read, and leaving your readers and your audience for more. And so that's
what
it.
I get from you, you're exuding with just being positive, giving people faith, giving people hope.
Yeah.
How are you able to pretty much for those, because you're going to have the skeptics,
Oh yeah.
and letting them know you're on the right path?
Yeah, I feel like you're fruit of your life. And that's what people are actually, you know, we have a lot of issues in Cayman and around the world, and people that have the truth and know the truth and their life is not added up to that. I'm just turned off. And with anything, you know, because God is the best product out there, but people don't market him well. And so, I mean, one of the things that any product, it could be a bad product, one thing that people get down packed was marketing. So God has the ultimate answers, the hope, the love, the peace, the grace, the wisdom. But if you're not marketing him well in your own personal life, people are not going to buy it into him. So I found that a lot of people is not against God. They're just against the portray of people who say they know him but don't know him and haven't responded. So I personally live from that perspective of receiving God's love for me today. What do I need? And then whatever God's given to me, whatever I receive, I can release. That's the whole emphasis of the book. You can't release someone or teach someone something that you haven't first digested yourself. And so I'm always on this journey. There's a proverb that says, he who refreshes others, he himself will be refreshed. So one of the things that gets me out of my toughest days is just start encouraging people. Start encouraging people, because the minute I encourage them, I get the encouragement that I actually impacted on them.
Which leads me to this. What would you say to somebody who's hearing your voice and listening to this interview, has been motivated and encouraged just by nuggets that you've dropped thus far, who feels that every odd is stacked up against them right now and just feel they may say, oh, it's just bad luck. Like they can't break free of those chains for whatever crisis they see themselves. It's just one hurdle after the other. It's like they cannot even exhale. What would you say to that person who's just about ready to throw in the towel and says, I'm done?
Yeah. Well, guess what? I've been there. And I didn't see my outside change until my inside changed. You see, the world we create with our words and we create with our thinking. Out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. So when somebody sees himself negatively and nothing changing, then I got to address that, and I'll encourage him to address that. When you begin to think differently, put your confidence and hold back in God, externally, you're going to take risks. That's called faith. You're going to see mountains move. But if you're in a pit, right, you're going to stay in there if you think there's no hope. And so I would just begin to say, hey, what testimony, what positive thing has happened in the last 2 or 3 years that you could hold on to, and then build on that and exercise hope. Do everything you can, and God will do only what he can do. But you need to give him something to work with. And that's what people don't understand and say, well, if God wants me to do this, he'll do this. No. He made the heavens, but the earth he has given to man. And what that means is that anything he's created has a purpose, and you are created with a purpose. You just need to start agreeing with that purpose and see your outward world change. But your outward world cannot change until your inward world change, because we need to steward our inner emotions to actually impact our external life. So that's where I would be at right now. Nothing is impossible. Mountains are removed, and sometimes God closed doors so you can walk into the new open opportunity. But we have a problem with letting go. And I have this phrase, I said, you have to let go so you can grow.
Yes.
A lot of people are stuck on past pains, 3 or 4 years. Listen, let it go. The opportunity passed. Another opportunity would come. The relationship stopped. Okay, pick yourself up now. Take a shower literally and start over.
Purge.
Purge, and move forward. And you know what? One of the things that helps me too is when things are not happening for me that I would love to happen to me, what is happening around the people around me? And when I learn to celebrate others well, not compete, but compliment, oh my gosh, open opportunities like today just begins to open up for me.
That's a story
I
in
didn't
itself.
plan to come, but it just opened up as I start to connect and bless others. Say, hey, I'm proud of you guys.
Let me tell you something. For those my loyal listeners knew that this was not my first guest this morning. We had an unexpected cancellation, and author Felix Manzanares, who's in studio with me this morning, was contacted, and guess what? The timing is perfect in leading up to an event that's happening at Arts Nest on May the 11th.
Yeah.
He's here today.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, Art Nest was here last week or a week before, and then Christina connected with Susan, and then Susan said, hey, you want to come on the show? I'm like, when? Tomorrow? I'm like, sure. So
tell us a little bit about that.
So Art Nest is just a great space. I don't know if you've ever been there before. It's behind the Foster's Airport. Awesome. The old Woods Furniture Building. And, Christina Pineda and her team there, they have a Cayman collective. You have A Word Gallery, Conscious Cafe, and other small business creative persons that are there. And it's just a community of entrepreneurs that are creative and just pursuing all that they can do to actually connect their product and their services with the audience in Cayman. And so they have recently did some changes, make it a little more spiffy, put some more added value in the environment there with the collaboration of some of the people I just met. And they want to kind of relaunch Art Nest. They used to be at Pasadora. They've been over at Art Nest, I think, more than a year now where they currently are. And so they want to invite the public in. And I got an opportunity. This is May 11th from 7 to 11, I believe. And I get an opportunity to, Christina's like, hey, Felix, come and just, get some hors d'oeuvres, have a little bubbly and just sell your book. And I'm like, hey, I could smile and wave.
Why not? And here you are.
And here I am doing that. So I'm just proud of them. It's a really cool space for people just to grow creatively and just see what people are doing in the community.
Excellent feedback. Mr. Manzanares, we got to take a break because we got to pay the bills. Keep it locked right here to Radio Cayman's Business Buzz for more when we come back.
The Cayman Islands boasts of a long, colorful, and rich history. In tribute to our roots, Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands, is pleased to bring you the Historical Vignette Series, sponsored by Cayman National Bank. Visit Cayman National Bank today for all of your financial needs. The Cayman Islands, he hath founded it upon the seas. Annie Elizabeth Bush, Certificate of Honor, 1901 to 1994. Annie was an enterprising young lady who learned to play the organ at an early age, and for many years was organist at the George Hicks Memorial Church in South Sound. She also taught her niece to play, and she eventually took over Annie's duties. Annie always wanted to be a nurse. She studied first aid under the tutelage of the late Mrs. Andrews. She worked as a practical nurse for many years at both new and old Georgetown hospitals, and also a theater nurse. After retirement, she did private nursing. She was a good seamstress and did a lot of crochet. She left her family a large crochet of the Lord's Prayer.
Radio Cayman's historical facts vignettes are proudly brought to you by Cayman National, with branches on all 3 Cayman Islands. Visit Cayman National Bank today for all of your financial needs.
Circle of Love Women's Ministry and DCFS would like to thank our gold sponsors for their support of the annual Child Month Breakfast on May 11, 2019. Smoothie King, Wall Street, Burger King, Rotary Sunrise, The Medical Specialist, Koshulas, Crichton Properties, Bodden & Bodden Attorneys at Law, and R.C. Bodden. Thank you, gold sponsors, for empowering, impacting, and encouraging the future of the Cayman Islands. For more information on the Child Month Breakfast or to be a sponsor, contact Shanda Hunter at 922-3229.
I'm Michael Webster.
And I'm Denise Brown of Cayman Insurance Center.
Family is not the most important thing, it's everything.
And for 45 years, we have worked with the community and their families on protecting themselves for the future.
Whether it's providing top-rated life insurance
or protecting your family's household investment.
From our family to yours, we understand and we care.
I'm Denise Brown. Call me at 814-7229.
And I'm Michael Webster at 925-5433.
We are Cayman Insurance Center,
specializing in property, life, and other lines of insurance products and services at an affordable rate. We are Michael and
Denise at Cayman Insurance Center.
Call today.
Oh gosh.
Don't let the stress of taking care of loved ones get you down.
Home care, now made easier with Cayman Medical Supplies. 100% Caymanian owned. Cayman Medical Supplies now stocks a wide range of home care supplies. Hospital beds, all types of wheelchairs, including beach access wheelchairs, lifts, commodes, shower chairs, walkers, Curad brand orthopedic supplies. Free blood glucose monitors with the purchase of 1 pack of test strips, blue underpads, and a whole lot more.
Need home care convenience? Drop by Cayman Medical Supplies at 93 Smith Road, Windward Center, or call 949-6211. Free delivery.
I love you, Mom.
Mother's Day is right around the corner. Treat the moms in your life to something special with elegant floral arrangements and gifts from Celebrations.
Thank you, Mom.
Enter to win a Best Mom Ever brunch pack for Mom by spending $150 or more on any Mother's Day design. Celebrations makes gift-giving easy with beautiful floral arrangements tailored to every taste. Express your sweetest sentiments and make her day special. Offering island-wide delivery and extended Mother's Day hours. Open Sunday, May 12th from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Order online at celebrationsgifts.com or visit our new location at 64 Kingbird Drive, Industrial Park.
My mother, I love you.
Support our port, support our tourism.
Did you know the Port Authority will continue to operate the cargo port and berthing facility when the piers are built? Cruise Line Finance secures berthing rights, not ownership, and will be repaid over time with fees paid by passengers.
Looking forward, looking bright.
Learn more and spread the word.
Support our port, support our tourism.
It's a big Mother's Day sale at International Lighting and Design. Thursday, May 9th through Saturday, May 11th. Moms never seem to have enough linen and household items. So head over to International Lighting and shop till you drop. Take 20 to 50% off select items. Shop for area rugs. Pick up those hard-to-find California king-size sheets and comforter sets. Check out those 8-piece comforter sets starting at $45. Too many items to mention and all at unbelievable prices. Spend $10 or more and get a surprise gift while supplies last. Head upstairs to the Bathroom Palace and take 20% off selected items. International Lighting and Design, upstairs and downstairs, Ed Plaza, North Songway. Open 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. Call 949-5141. And for outdoor shopping under the big tree, stop by the entrance of the Buddentown Church of God Chapel Saturday from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. and enjoy lots of Mother's Day savings. Happy Mother's Day from the management and staff of International Lighting and Design and the Bathroom Palace.
Welcome back to the Business Buzz, the business topics that matter, an insightful and fresh take on a variety of issues that impact the local business environment. Business Buzz.
Welcome back to the Business Buzz, and joining me in studio, I'm pleased to have author Mr. Felix Manzanares telling us more about his new book, Carrying His Heart. It shares some of his struggles with receiving God's love, as well as his victories over some of his greatest setbacks in life and faith. Carrying His Heart is a very interactive and applicable book, and in it you will join Felix on a journey together, receiving and releasing the heart of God. Now, where can persons get a copy of this book?
I'm glad you asked. Right now I have 3 outlet stores. My good friend Chris Goddard at Winner Circle has some. Obviously, Christian Enlightenment Center, that's our local Christian resource place on Elgin Avenue. And Art Nest, that's where Christina is going to be selling them. And the prices are $12 in retail. Person's been buying a little bit more wholesale from me, so I've been giving people $10 outside of the actual store just to give it an incentive, but $12 is the retail price for the book.
I'm just curious, your thoughts on ebooks versus having the ability to hold a book and smell the ink and go through and flip through the papers. Yes.
Well, I would say, like, on the local market, everybody wanted the physical book. On my website, felixmanzanares.ky, I have a link there that you could actually get from Amazon, and you could actually go to lulu.com, my publishers, to get the ebook. I personally like the ebook because as I go to conferences and I buy books, I notice that my bookshelf keeps on, having more books, and that's great. But when I'm in the bank and it's a long line, I'm not going to pretty much hold a book, but I have my phone. And so you could actually download the Amazon app for the Kindle, and you can download my book for $8.99 US, and it's instantly
and it's always there.
And it's in the bookstore. Yeah, it's in the bookstore, Apple Bookstore as well. So you can go now to felixmanzanares.ky and download the Kindle version, or go to one of our retail stores and get a physical copy.
Now, I have to go here. I want to know what your future ambitions are when it comes to writing.
My goal is to actually release material every 18 months to 2 years, because writing is a part of your personal development. And whatever the cost of my book, couple thousands, to get it all packaged for my readers. But even if I didn't sell one book, I healed my soul. I wrote down my challenges, and I processed what did I learn, and I put that in another way that I can articulate well and look back on my own personal journey, because growth is not a straight line. It's more like a heartbeat. It's kind of like... And you have to look back and look where you are and say, wow, I actually grew. And so one of the things that I actually, this book healed me, the process of being vulnerable to other people speaking into my life, highlighting the pros, the big things and the small things, and the things that I overcome and the things that I'm pursuing now to overcome. Yeah, so I would say every 2 years, and it would be just out of my personal growth that I would actually be giving my audience and giving the potential readers something to grasp and apply and add on to their lives as well.
Please recap about the book, Carrying His Heart, and even the event on Saturday.
Yeah, so the book pretty much is an upgrade in love. We have to love. In 1 Corinthians chapter 12, it talks about all the gifts of the Holy Spirit. It says the gifts of the Holy Spirit: speaking in tongues, interpretation of tongues, prophecy, gifts of encouragement, gifts of faith. And in verse 13, it's this marriage chapter that we read. Love is this, love is kind, love doesn't envy, doesn't boast. But it's in the context of your gifts. So you can be the most powerful person and have not love, you have nothing. And so what it is operating from a spirit of adoption. God adopts me. He brings me into fellowship. And you know what? My mission in life is to bring more sons and more daughters at the table to experience this encounter of love and growth that is available to them. So this book is just aspects of my journey, upgrading our perspective of how God sees us so that we can see others from His perspective as well. And a recap on May 11. If you're not doing anything, especially if you're working on Saturdays, say, Felix, I want to do something in the night, come by Art Nest. I actually have deals going on for my book. So if you could buy 3 books for $25 from me, and you'll have an opportunity to talk with me, chat with me. I'll sign some copies. And so if you really wanted to support this product and just get your own upgrade of God's love for you, and you want to purchase the book, then put it on your calendars to be there at Art Nest May 11, this Saturday from 7 to 11. You don't have to stay for the whole thing, but come and see what other creative people are doing through the Cayman Creative Collective at Art Nest as well.
Mr. Manzanares, thank you. It has been indeed a pleasure.
And that's your book.
Oh, thank you.
I'm going to sign it for you.
Nice. I'm very special. I beat Susan.
I got one for you too, Susan.
Don't leave her out.
Yeah.
But thank you. I want to wish you all success, Felix. And I know that many people have been touched and inspired this morning. I'm not even asking. I'm not even wondering. I know messages were sent and were received this morning. And I want to wish you great success, not only with your book, but in your walk in faith and in Jesus. And I hope that we'll get more updates from you as you progress in your journey.
Thank you for your time, Ms. Sabrina, and all the best business buzz.
It has been a pleasure. Stay tuned for more of Radio Cayman's Business Buzz after the 8 o'clock news and weather. When we come back, we have representatives from the RCIPS, as we state, and our topics this morning. We plan to cover, get some information on crime stats, burglaries and robberies, traffic, and community watches. Over to you, Susan.
Thank you, Sabrina. And studio time now by Price Right is 7:59.
Price Right is Grand Cayman's warehouse shopping superstore, making your dollar go further with huge savings and no membership fees. Get more of the things you use every day at the right price. But it's not just grocery and health and beauty. Price Right has a full range of products from office to automotive, patio furnishings to kitchen appliances, and even electronics. And since warehouse prices mean savings for you, everything is priced right at Price Right, Grand Cayman's warehouse shopping superstore.
The voice of the Cayman Islands.
89.9 FM in Grand Cayman and 93.9 FM in Cayman Brac and Little Cayman.
Silver wings shining in the sunlight.
Radio Cayman.
Access and information. Your community. News and information. Radio Cayman is your choice, your voice for today's biggest news. Radio Cayman.
With your latest news, I'm Carsley Fuller. The Cayman Islands Tourism Association extends the deadline for submitting nominations to this year's annual Stingray Tourism Awards through May 24th.
In order to give our members the opportunity to fully participate. As the industry has been extraordinarily busy this year, we don't want persons to miss out on the magic. As tourism has been booming, so has the demands on our industry in coordinating activities for guests, keeping on top of everything while ensuring safety and a quality guest experience.
Cayman Islands Tourism Association's Executive Director Tiffany Dixon-Ebank says nominations include categories for all tourism sectors, such as accommodation employees, water sports employees, restaurant employees, transport employees, and allied members. Ms. Dixon-Ebank says from back to house to front of house, everyone deserves to be recognized for their hard work and commitment.
For anyone who's thinking about it at this time and they haven't submitted a nomination, just think about it. Is there a manager or employee that you think is awesome? Is there that one person who just makes you happy to come into work and is always going above and beyond for the team and for the community? We want to encourage you to take the time out to submit a nomination.
The awards under the theme The Magic of Tourism are being held on July 23rd at the Ritz-Carlton at 6 p.m. with a cocktail reception, followed by dinner and the award ceremony at 7. You can find out more by heading to cita.ky/Stingray Awards. And the Dart Minds-inspired Award for Excellence in Teaching STEM was held on May 2nd at the National Gallery of the Cayman Islands to recognize outstanding educators in the subjects of science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, collectively known as STEM. DART Education Program Senior Manager Glenda McTaggart.
The Award of Excellence in Teaching STEM is DART's way of celebrating educators who've made a significant and positive difference in the lives of students through STEM teaching.
The teachers were nominated by their peers and evaluated through a blind selection process. The panel consisted of a representative from the DART Scholar Selection Committee, a PhD-level industry professional in a STEM field, a member of the U.S. National Science Teachers Association, and retired principals from Cayman as well as overseas.
We were extremely pleased at the nominations, the high caliber of nominations, and we recognize that STEM teachers are a really important part of the education program in the Cayman Islands. So we were extremely pleased with the result.
Teachers from St. Ignatius, Island Montessori, and Cayman International School were all recognized. As the recipients of the 2019 Excellence in Teaching STEM Awards, they have been invited to attend a STEM Educators Conference, Compliments of Minds Inspired, and receive a cash award of $1,000. The award also included a $3,000 U.S. grant for each school to enhance its STEM educational resources. Now with a check of international news, here's the BBC, who will take us out of the newscast. I'm Carsley Fuller from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
BBC News with David Austin. A court in Montenegro has found 14 people guilty of plotting to overthrow the government on election day in 2016. They include 2 Russians, 9 Serbs, and 2 members of the opposition Democratic Front. The prosecution said they were part of a Kremlin-backed plot to assassinate the then Prime Minister, Milo Djukanovic, and block Montenegro's accession to NATO. China has vigorously denied claims by President Trump that it made significant changes to a draft trade agreement which was close to being signed. An official said Beijing was fully prepared to take retaliatory action if the United States enacted a planned increase in tariffs on Friday. China's top trade negotiator is due in Washington for last-minute talks. South Korea says the North has test-fired 2 short-range missiles hours after the arrival of a U.S. envoy in Seoul. It says one travelled 270 kilometres and the other 420. On Saturday, Pyongyang test-fired a tactical guided missile into the Sea of Japan. Reports from Syria say government-backed forces have taken another strategically significant town in a major campaign to recapture rebel-held territory in the northwest. Activists and residents say Kalat al-Madiq is now under the control of government forces. BBC News.
Access information. What's happening in your community? News and information, music and more. You can find us. www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. Radio Cayman is your choice, your voice for today's biggest news. Radio Cayman.
Moms everywhere, Advance Automotive salutes you. We know you have the hardest job in the world, so we want to introduce you to the 2019 Chevrolet Traverse, the stylish 7 or 8-seater SUV, voted Best Family Car 2018. Partnering with Saxon, take advantage of our new 1-2-3 offer. 1 year free insurance, 2 years free servicing, and 3 years free licensing, freeing up more cash to pamper yourself this Mother's Day. Moms everywhere, you rock. Visit the showroom on Owen Roberts Drive or visit AdvanceChevrolet.com to start enjoying your new Traverse. Who runs the world? Mums.
Good morning. Time now for the latest weather report. Current temperature is 84 degrees. Relative humidity is 78%. Barometric pressure 29.94 inches and rising. The wind is east at 5 knots. Overnight low temperature was 78. Synopsis indicate light easterly winds and slight seas continues across the Cayman area for the next 24 hours due to a weak pressure gradient over the northwest Caribbean. Radar images show isolated showers in and around the Cayman area moving towards the northwest. Now the forecast for today, calling for partly cloudy skies with a 30% chance of showers, and temperatures will be in the upper 80s. Your winds will be east at 5 to 10 knots and seas will be slight with wave heights of 1 to 3 feet. Forecast for tonight calling for partly cloudy skies with a 30% chance of late night showers. Temperatures falling to the mid to upper 70s tonight. Your winds will be east to southeast at 5 knots or less, and seas will be slight with wave heights of 1 to 3 feet. High tide occurring this afternoon at 12:24. Low tide tonight at 2 minutes after 7. The sun will set this evening at 6:49 and will rise tomorrow morning at 5:53. And the outlook is calling for similar weather conditions through Saturday morning. Good morning once again. Let's take a look at what's happening traffic-wise. Coming from the West Bay four-way stop, traffic flowing moderately in both directions. And traffic flowing moderately as well on Edward Street, Shedden Road. Looking pretty good. And on Eastern Avenue, not looking too bad at all as traffic is moderate, as well as on Godfrey Nixon Way. And looking at what's happening on the West Bay Road in front of the Ritz, traffic moderate in both directions. Little steady traffic on Huldah Avenue as well as on Crew Road. And traffic steady but flowing on Thomas Russell Way. Coming from the east on Shamrock Road, busy traffic on Shamrock Road and also on the Linford Pearson Highway. Slight delays expected as you head on down to Georgetown. coming off of Bobby Thompson Way, steady but flowing traffic. If you see any accidents or incidents on Cayman's roads, give us a call here at Radio Cayman, 949-6990. Have a good morning and buckle up.
Real estate agents and developers, as well as dealers in precious metals and stones, have until Wednesday, May 29th to register with the Department of Commerce and Investment. The DCI is the agency with responsibility for ensuring real estate agents and developers, as well as dealers in precious metals and stones, are compliant with international obligations relating to anti-money laundering and combating the financing of terrorism. DCI urges businesses to register as soon as possible to avoid missing the deadline on May 29th. Registration forms are available from www.dci.gov.ky or the DCI counter at the Government Administration Building. For further details, please contact enforcement@dci.gov.ky.
Healthcare Pharmacy cares about your health and your mom this Mother's Day with the largest collection of greeting cards, picture frames, photo albums, gift boxes, gift bags, and inspirational quotes from Hallmark and Shoebox. You'll find the perfect card and that perfect for mom gift, like perfume and bath sets at Healthcare Pharmacy in Governor Square and Grand Harbor. Healthcare Pharmacy in Grand Harbor will be open on Mother's Day from 10 to 6 for any last-minute shopping.
Keeping cool in Cayman is essential, but can be costly. Making small adjustments to your household can lead to big savings and help protect the environment. Keep your blinds, curtains, doors, and windows closed when it's hot outside. Using a fan instead of AC will use less power and can cost a mere third of air conditioning. And when using a fan, rotate it anti-clockwise, which will blow the cool air downward, saving even more energy and money. Visit the Ministry of Commerce, Planning, and Infrastructure Facebook page for more tips on alternatives to AC and be an energy advocate.
Welcome back to the Business Buzz, the business topics that matter, an insightful and fresh take on a variety of issues that impact the local business environment. Cayman's Business Buzz.
Welcome back to the Business Buzz. It is proudly sponsored by Cayman Medical Supplies and Cayman Insurance Center. This segment, we put the spotlight on the Royal Cayman Islands Police Service as we continue with our regular segments. It takes place every second Thursday of the month. We'll be sharing crime statistics report and also giving some updated details on burglaries. We're going to take a look at trends and so forth, and I'm pleased to welcome in studio, telling us more, Police Media Officer Ms. Jody Ann Powery and Ms. Jacqueline Carpenter, Communications Manager. Welcome back, ladies.
Good morning.
Always exciting to have you guys on to hear what's going on, though we're not hearing through the RCIPS app. I'm so proud to say that now. But if you don't have the app, you're missing out.
You are.
So keeping all up and informed with RCIPS, with trending and just moving forward with social media, and I feel that's an excellent way of course keeping the public informed as well, so kudos to you on that. Let's get straight into crime statistics report.
Yeah, sure. Well, thanks for having us on again today, Sabrina. We appreciate it. Well, as everyone probably has heard, we did release our crime statistics report last week. It showed a number of different things happening, a number of trends across the island in 2018. And I think one of the biggest things, which people probably saw, is the drop in burglaries over 2017, where we had 324 burglaries last year versus 515 the year before. So this is a pretty significant drop. And so we just explained that a little bit in terms of what we think happened and hopefully how we can try to continue that and continue that. So one of the things we focused on was the fact that we know through our own, database and everything, that we locked up a number of recidivist burglars last year, and we could see that once somebody was specifically locked up, that was suspected of committing burglaries in a certain area, the burglaries in that neighborhood just stopped.
Right now.
Right. So we saw the overall impact of that in the overall crime figures. And just to give one example, there was an arrest made, if you remember, Snug Harbor was having a number of burglaries last year. On May 10th, which is actually, tomorrow, it will be 1 year since there's been a burglary in Snug Harbor, which is basically, so it will be 1 year. And basically, and I'm a resident of Snug Harbor. I'm also on the watch committee. And basically, there was a number of things that went into that. There's a lot of work on the side of the police, obviously, but there's a lot of work on the side of the community
as well.
And so it's really you can't say, oh, it's just the police locked up somebody. Actually, the community worked with us and actually helped us track down that person and make that arrest in terms of the information provided. And we saw that, just as you can see, for a year now we haven't had a burglary in Snug Harbor.
Mm-hmm.
So that's just one example of what's been going on. And we do think we see, thanks to the community participating with us, we see we're starting to see some of the impacts of community policing in some areas around the island. And certainly there's more to be done, and there's a lot more potential it has. But we do have 31 active community watches now in Grand Cayman, and we do think that that's a very good figure, and we want to build that.
Right.
So I think that the burglaries are the nice message in the crime stats.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What can you say? Let's look at it as district now. What district in Grand Cayman experienced the most break-ins, let's say in 2018? And when you look at 2018, would you say it is a decrease from 2017? Where does that lie?
Well, basically, what we had in across the specific districts in 2017, Boddentown was hit really hard, and again, there was a couple people locked up, and in 2018, that decreased. So, for instance, in 2017, there were 157 burglaries in Boddentown. In 2018, there were 67.
Okay,
so we had a massive decrease in Boddentown. But in 2018, the district with the most number of burglaries still was Georgetown, with 207. But that was still down from 2017, where they had 283. So we saw a drop in burglaries across all districts. It wasn't just in one area. It was across all districts and all types of burglary, residential and commercial. We saw drops in all of those. So I think what the good news is about the drop is that it was shared. It was a shared drop across the island.
Right.
Now, I just want to say that still 324 burglaries across the island is still a lot, and there's still people out there who were burgled last year who are saying, well, I don't really care that there was a drop. I was burgled, I don't really. So I want to be conscious of that and not just say, all is well and sunny. But I do think we just need to look at why this happened so we can continue that trend.
I think another thing that's important to mention as well is that not only was there a decrease in burglaries, but there were also a decrease in burglary-related crimes. So criminal trespass was also down last year, and so was attempted burglaries.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, do you feel that what homeowners are doing, for example, cameras, neighborhood watches, WhatsApp chat groups, has also helped you all in your job?
Absolutely.
You're all taking personal responsibility to some degree?
That gives me a warm and fuzzy feeling inside.
Nice.
It absolutely does.
Nice.
It absolutely does. I think with the development of our country and of society in general, cameras are becoming a lot more affordable now, thank goodness, because like those doorbell cameras have been like a gem and for us. And we see that with some of the posts that we make asking for assistance in identifying persons who've attempted or have broken into this place. Their pictures are available and their videos are available for us to send to the public if we can identify them for the public to assist us. And I'm happy to say that through our website and other means, we've actually had members of the public who have been assisting us, and we're very grateful for that kind of connection with the community.
Yeah. Now, I know what has made got a lot of attention and was the recent Webster's estate, and when you see the onus of the parents respond, that also must have a good feeling, because many times you're saying, oh, the parents need to be taken into, but the mother did the right thing in this case.
She did.
They both did.
And those residents in that community really came together, and it just shows the power of community work.
Yeah, absolutely.
And togetherness.
And I just want to say that I talked to the community officer, actually the sergeant for Georgetown, Johnny Kern, and he told me something that was really moving. He actually said that the community came together, they had a meeting, And there were people who expressed that they wanted to reach out to the families of the boys that committed the vandalism and provide them support and even provide them with. So there was no
anyone
animosity
bashing. It
was really just this
from
feeling
a good place.
like, we need to come together as a community, as a society, to address this issue, and we're not
mm-hmm.
going to, there was a fair amount of damage.
Yes.
And there was a fair amount of serious damage in terms of the amount of money
mm-hmm.
involved in repairing that. And I was just really moved by the fact that there wasn't this
mm-hmm.
Animosity. It was more just, we want to come together as a community and extend some support
to that parent,
to these
those households.
Mm-hmm. I just was. So to me, talk about a warm and fuzzy feeling.
Yeah,
I got that feeling. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Now, when someone you have those who are, and this is for all of those who may have already CCTVs on their homes,
mm-hmm.
and you capture these images, turning that information over to the Royal Cayman Islands Police.
Mm-hmm.
Some people may be a little apprehensive, saying, well, they're going to know that vantage point came from my house. I'm going to be targeted. How they're going to put pressure on me to give them something that I put to protect my home. What message would you send to those persons who have that feeling? I don't have time to go to the court, to be no witness, to be a target in my neighborhood.
Well, Sabrina, there are two things, okay? First of all, we have a Submit a Tip app on our website, and we also have Crime Stoppers, where you can send information to us via two different avenues,
mm-hmm.
Anonymously. And if you so choose, not even be contacted at all by any police officer. We just take your information as it is and work with it from that. And the second part of that is also that community work and a developing community and a safer community is everybody's business.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody has a part to play. And
mm-hmm.
you're not going to realize until it's you that needs protecting.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And so I encourage anyone, if you see something, say something, because it could be you and it could be your family that would be affected next time. Especially if something is happening so close that your camera catches it,
mm-hmm.
Right.
it means that you're probably the next target.
It's true.
And as we have seen from the videos that we've been sending out to the public asking for assistance in identifying persons, criminals don't care if you have cameras or not.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. I heard some of the video. I don't care.
It helps.
Right.
It helps us that you have cameras with our investigation, but we don't just want to investigate. We want to prevent as well.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now let's talk a little bit about child safeguarding and domestic violence.
Yeah.
Yes?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
What were the results from the crime report as it relates to involving domestic violence and child safety issues?
Well, I think what we're seeing since the MASH, which is the Multi-Agency Safeguarding Hub,
Mm-hmm.
basically launched back in March of 2017, we're seeing a continual increase in the amount of reports we're receiving regarding domestic-related issues, whether it be child safeguarding or violence in the home between intimate partners or violence in the home between, relatives. Right, exactly. So essentially, we've seen a massive increase in that. And I just want to say that everybody who works over in the MASH and in the Family Support Unit, they don't believe that this increase in referrals is about a new incidence of crime or domestic violence. They actually think that people are just now coming forward more and more and more.
Uh-huh.
And part of that is some real work that's been done, awareness raising that's been done by the police, but also several other agencies.
Right.
Red Cross is among them.
Mm-hmm.
Others, DCFS, who is our partner in the MASH. There's been a lot of awareness raising done as part of this MASH effort, and we do think that that's having an impact. But what's also really important is that there are people out there like police officers, like teachers. Those are the two main ones, but there's a whole other people who are mandated reporters, especially around child abuse.
Mm-hmm.
And so those people have gotten training. Those people have become more aware inside of this whole program, and they're sending more referrals now.
Right.
So it's really about the process getting more streamlined, and we're seeing. And so we take that as a good sign, even though it might be a little bit disturbing that you're seeing a fourfold increase in domestic violence referrals happening to the police. we think that that's a good thing because basically it means that people are coming forward, and so we do have to look at the scope of the problem a little bit more as a society. We do have a lot of domestic violence related things are happening. So what are the deeper issues there that could be worked on?
And as somebody who grew up in the Cayman Islands, who went to school in the Cayman Islands, I don't believe that these things, domestic violence and child safeguarding issues, are new to us. I don't think that there is more of them. I just think that more people are reporting them and more people are empowered to make a difference. And that is the reason why we're seeing more reports being made. And so definitely I don't want people to be scared and be like, oh my God, why is there so many child abuse referrals compared to before? I just think that there's more now because more people
are coming out. They're standing their ground. And how are you able to even maintain your composure when you have to go in some of these cases?
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, we don't personally, but I know that the detectives do. And I think that is one thing that I respect a lot, people who work in the MASH, because it seems like it would be a very difficult subject and to investigate. But they do a really good job, and they are given a lot of training with respect to how to achieve the best evidence and how to conduct an interview so that a child is not intimidated and can speak freely and openly. There's a lot of training that goes into that, right. So I would say that that you are empowered with tools. But we also, I'm happy to say that through I think it's the hedge funds, they have supported a proposal that we put forth last year, the inspector put forward for a kind of wellness program for those officers, specifically so they could reach out and get support, and for the MASH in general, so that they could reach out and get support. So there are some extra supports there, and it is a sort of work where you need it.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of talk, we've been talking about various districts on Grand Cayman. We don't want to let our sister islands, Cayman Brac and Little Cayman, to be at all, in any way, shape, or form, feel left out.
Yeah, exactly.
What kind of reports have you gotten from the sister islands, or what would you like to say as it pertains to the sister islands?
Well, we recently, the commissioner and the superintendent and I recently went to Cayman Brac, and we had a series of meetings there because we have a new inspector who started over in Cayman Brac this year and is just kind of getting his feet wet and starting to do things. And we've had some disturbing incidents on Cayman Brac so far this year. We had a very serious vehicular incident where a man died. There's been some GBHs or serious assaults that happened over the last year as well. Grievous bodily harm. Yeah, exactly. And just generally, there's a number of things indicating a level of alcohol abuse and the kind of hazards that creates on the roads. So in our meetings, we discussed all of these things, and I hope that we can. I mean, I do feel like the sister islands need more attention, and I know that they feel that, and we said that openly. So we're really hoping this year to be able to launch some things with the new inspector and work on some community development there and community watches development. And we actually had I just want to say we had a good meeting. The commissioner had a community meeting. And there were a number of people who stood up and said, let's start a community watch and let's do this. And I really felt that there was an energy there to work with us. So it's really for us to follow up on that. I did say to you earlier that, that we were talking before the show that we have community watches. We have 31 from them last year, but they're kind of unevenly distributed across the island. We need more in East End. We need more in Northside, and we need more in the sister islands. So that, we're kind of new into this, relaunch of the community policing department, the energizing that's happening around it, the new positions the government has helped us with, so we can have more officers in community policing. So I think in this year it's about moving into where we're seeing that we need to increase our community policing. So we have it really good in Boddentown and West Bay and Georgetown, and now it's the other districts, including the sister islands.
Yes.
Yeah.
You're in tune to Radio Cayman's Business Buzz as we put the spotlight on the Royal Cayman Islands Police Service, a regular talks with them every second Thursday of the month. Our topics that we're covering is getting the reports broke down, a crime statistics report as it pertains to burglaries, robberies. We're also going to dabble a little bit into traffic. And we've already started into neighborhood watches. We're hoping that by the end of this that you'd be more informed or encouraged. If you haven't started neighborhood watch, that from this, and you can see what it can yield and the positive things that comes from neighborhood watches, that you may be encouraged and inspired to do more in your community. The Business Buzz again is proudly sponsored by Cayman Medical Supplies and Cayman Insurance Center. We'll take a break. When we come back, we'll tackle traffic when we come back.
Oh gosh.
Don't let the stress of taking care of loved ones get you down.
Home care, now made easier with Cayman Medical Supplies. 100% Caymanian owned. Cayman Medical Supplies now stocks a wide range of home care supplies. Hospital beds, all types of wheelchairs, including beach access wheelchairs, lifts, commodes, shower chairs, walkers, Curad brand orthopedic supplies. Free blood glucose monitors with the purchase of 1 pack of test strips, blue underpads, and a whole lot more.
Need home care convenience? Drop by Cayman Medical Supplies at 93 Smith Road, Windward Center, or call 949-6211. Free delivery.
Sounds of Expressions, a Toastmasters event on May 29th at 6 p.m. at the Georgetown Town Hall.
An evening of intimate poetry and live music displayed by our Toastmasters and local musicians.
Admission only $10. All proceeds go towards our youth leadership program.
Come on down and support our youth as it promises to be a night of captivating entertainment.
Sounds of Expressions.
Tickets available at Sings Rota Shop, a Toastmasters fundraising event proudly sponsored by Radio Cayman,
Star 92.7, Audio Wave,
The Performance Lab,
FunFet, Acorn Publishing, and Sings Roti Shop.
Have you just completed a weekend cleanup project? Do you plan to dispose of old appliances, electronics, or even hazardous waste? Dispose of these items at the 24-hour drop-off site located at the entrance of the Georgetown landfill. This site is open to the public daily for your convenience. Do your part. Keep Cayman clean. For more tips on proper waste handling, visit the DEH website at www.deh.gov.ky.
Welcome back to the Business Buzz, the business topics that matter, an insightful and fresh take on a variety of issues that impact the local business environment. Business Buzz.
Welcome back to the Business Buzz as we keep the spotlight on RCIPS, sharing with you information as it pertains from the crime statistics report, and also getting some information on additional details on burglaries, traffic, community watches, and other crimes as well. As I promised, we want to hear about traffic. 8 people were killed on Cayman's roads in 2018 in separate collisions. And in 2006, 6 people were killed. Mm-hmm. Tell us what was yield from this, because there's fatal collisions, speeding, in comparison to 17, 18. And then when you're looking at all the social media now in 2019, how much accidents in one day average? I think we're going to bust that. By the looks of things on social media.
Absolutely. Do you want to start?
Well, one of the things to note is that overall traffic accidents have decreased in 2018 from 2,732 to 2,354. The problem with that is that fatal accidents have increased from 3 in 2017 to 8. Mm-hmm. So what we've seen is that even though we can do things to try to reduce the day-to-day accidents, it's more of a societal change that it will take for us to combat the drunk driving and the reckless driving that causes a lot of the times these serious and fatal accidents. And it's going to take a little bit more than just the police to do. It's going to take a whole community, the whole country to do. It's going to take a lot of different entities to come together to try to figure out what we need to implement in order to get these things done. I know that this past weekend it was Badabanu, and I think it's changed The organization is called Ride for Change.
Ride for Change.
They provided bus services after the event, Badabunu event. 53 people took opted to take the bus to get their selves home. They provided 2 buses, one that went to West Bay and one that went to the Eastern Districts. And I think that going forward, if we try to organize more of these types of things, especially for major events, then maybe we can try to encourage people not to drink and drive, not to be reckless on the road. But overall, accidents have gone down. It's just it's the serious accidents that we're still struggling with.
Yeah.
No, I know you may. I always say the police are never around when I'm witnessing certain things. I'm quite sure everybody must feel the same way.
I tell you what,
with road rage and then just outright lawlessness in some people's behavior on the road.
I'm never in a police car when I see all the things that I see on the road as well. So feel the same thing.
You see?
Yeah. That's
I'm always in my personal car when I see stuff on the road.
But can you not respond anyhow, whether or not?
Unfortunately, my personal car doesn't have a siren.
Well, I think that Jody's making a point there too, that when police are on the road, people do behave, and that's the issue with visibility, and that's the issue with enforcement. We have made some inroads on that this year. We definitely, our enforcement numbers are through the roof with speeding and with a number of other
driving on the soft shoulders,
undertaking,
and those many buses are guilty of that, and they'll have on the wrong indicator, just thinking that they're going to, for example, make a right turn. They have no intentions of turning, but it stops you from, even if it's clear, for you to overtake. Those practices we see in our neighboring countries, and they're bringing it here.
Right. No, I totally understand that, and
they stop wherever.
In terms of I know that our enforcement numbers have gone through the roof, but at the same time, we are bringing on a couple more traffic officers in the new year. And also, there is an initiative out there. It's called the National Road Safety Council. This is an idea that's been talked about and that we're working on developing, so that we work with all the partner agencies like the driver's license, vehicle licensing department, NRA, and because really you need public transport board. You really need to have all these entities come together
and on the same page
in order to really have an across-the-board impact, which is what you're talking about if you really want to decrease the sorts of things we regularly see on the road. I will say that I do see some behavior change on the road, though, since the enforcement started. I take the Esterly Tibbetts into town every day, and essentially there's a little spot there, and I'm sure a lot of people listening know what I'm talking about. Right past the dump, there's a little spot where there has been traffic police, and you can't really see if they're there or not until you come around the bend.
Yes.
So I swear to God, even this morning, you hear all the cars now. He wasn't there this morning; he was there yesterday. They slow down. They're all slowing down, and you could see that they all slow down through that section.
Yes.
I guess my point is that enforcement can cause some behavior change,
right?
But it really needs to be repeated and intensified, and it takes a lot of resources. But we've allotted those resources to it. But it's not going to solve the big problems of 41,000 cars on the island
and
growing, and these are bigger sort of strategic issues that need to be addressed. A traffic cop doing speed checks isn't alone going to be the mechanism that fixes all of that.
It has to be a mind shift from the users of the road,
right?
For everybody,
right? And some of the structural aspects of both the licensing, but then also the speed. We always say that there are 3 components to road safety: it's engineering, education, and enforcement. So we just I think everybody needs to. We're all stepping up to do our part. Trying, yeah.
Now there is a public safety recruitment fair and expo that's going on.
Yeah.
Could you care to share some details in regards to that? And I think there's a graduation coming up.
Yeah, so we can give you a couple just mentions right now. The expo is next week on the 16th. It's at UCCI. There's a morning sort of session and an afternoon session. It's with several of the law enforcement departments as well as EMS and HSA, right? They're also there too. So it's an opportunity for people to come out and learn more about these departments, learn more about the careers that are available in these departments. We're going to have some demonstrations that we're going to be doing, the different departments at different times. So there's a morning session at UCCI for school children and so and younger students, and then there's an evening session for older students and people who are perhaps actively job seeking to come. So I think it goes from 9 to 2 and then 4 to 7.
It goes from I think 9 to 1 and then from 3 to 7.
3 to 7. Okay. At UCCI, and that's on Thursday of next week, the 16th. And then do you want to talk about today's event?
Well, today is our graduation. We have, I think, 23 recruits
new police
graduating.
constables.
Excellent.
And I'm happy to say that a great many of those are also women. I've been lonely. Thank you for joining. Yes, and it'll take place today. I think it's
2 o'clock.
2 o'clock till 4 o'clock or thereabouts. And it'll be at the Harquail. And
we're excited and proud.
I'll be looking on social media.
Yes.
I'll be watching for all the updates.
Yes, absolutely. We have 8 women in this recruit class.
Excellent.
And last year we had a much smaller recruit class with no women, so we're glad. We're happy and glad about that.
Just to mention as well, right after this batch is graduated, there'll be another group starting right away with 21 officers. Some of those are women as well.
Yeah, I don't know the number of women.
Yeah. Okay,
group,
but we'll get that definitely.
Thank
We'll get our update.
So congratulations to all the recruits.
How long is the whole recruiting process? I mean, the course leading up to graduation?
17 to 18 weeks.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Why do you think persons should get involved in a career in public safety in the RCIPS? I don't want because it's the best.
No, there are several things. I think that, first of all, you have to have a need to serve your community in order to be an effective public safety officer. You have to want to help. You have to have that want and need to do something for your community in order to be an effective public safety officer.
I agree.
And I think for any of the departments, and certainly for me, I started out teaching, but it didn't work. I don't think I had the patience for that. And I came into this, and 10 years later, I'm still here and I still want to be here because in the police, and I can speak only for the police because I'm a police officer, there are so many different things that you can be on a daily basis. You're a counselor. Sometimes you're a medic until the medic arrives. You're that investigator. You're a friend.
A media officer.
Officer today.
You're almost,
you're a journalist.
Exactly.
And also in the 10 years of my career that I've been a police officer, I've been a detective. I've been a community police officer. I've been a patrol officer, and now I'm a media officer. There's just so many different things and so many dynamics to being a public safety officer. And so I think that if you have even a speck of need to serve your community, you should just come out, have a talk with some of the people that are going to be there, let them tell you their stories, and see if this is for you. And it doesn't hurt that we also have competitive salaries.
Well, we always like to hear that. That's like the cherry on the top. Yeah. Now, we're going to take a final break, but before I go into that, Junior Batabanu takes place this Saturday.
Yes.
Do you mind sharing with us what the motoring public needs to be aware of?
Absolutely. Just 1 second.
Well, you know what we'll do? Get that together. We'll take our final break. So we'll give you all the updates on the road closures and what the motoring public needs to do and be aware of. And even those persons who want to take in the beautiful sights and all the choreography from those young kids. Now I'll give you an opportunity to share with us your final points as well. Keep it locked to the Business Buzz for more when we come back.
Don't take chances with your family's future or your valuable assets. Always be prepared and ensure your family is provided for. Cayman Insurance Center specializes in life, property, motor, health, and liability at the most competitive premiums and affordable rates on island. Call Michael Webster today at 925-5433 for life insurance or Denise Brown at 814-7229 for property insurance. Call them today for all your insurance needs.
Mama. Wow your mom with a sweet embrace and send her flowers to put a smile on her face. Roses is the one-stop for your Mother's Day flowers, gifts, and goodies. Place your order by May 8th and get 10% off your flowers. Call 922-5273, 746-7673, or go to rosesroses.ky. Everything you need to show Mom how much you love her is at Rosie's Roses, shop number 7, Rankin Plaza, off Eastern Avenue. Free delivery in Georgetown.
I support building the piers because the cruise industry puts millions of dollars into our economy each year. Without that revenue, young people like me risk facing an uncertain future. Learn more and spread the word.
Looking forward, looking bright. Support our port, support our tourism.
Welcome back to the Business Buzz, the business topics that matter, an insightful and fresh take on a variety of issues that impact the local business environment. Business Buzz.
Welcome back to the Business Buzz as we hear more and get reports on crime statistics, burglaries, robberies, traffic, and even neighborhood watches. Now it's time to hear about road closures. This Saturday is Junior Batapanu Parade, and we need to know where we can go and stand and take in the sights. And for all of you motorists who are actually on the roads, what you need to be aware of.
Okay, so Junior Batapanu is going to be taking place this Saturday, the 11th of May, and there will be the event itself will take place between 1:30 p.m. and 6:30 p.m. And so Elgin Avenue between Hospital Road and Claude Hill Road, and Claude Hill Road is formerly Humber Avenue, will be closed between 1:30 and 6:30 on Saturday. The parade begins at 3 p.m. and will travel west from the old glass house, and it'll turn left on Shedden Road, right onto Harbor Drive, right onto Fort Street, right onto Edward Street, and then continue onto Elgin Avenue and finish back at the glass house.
So it's pretty much a loop.
Yes, it is. Officers will be closing sections of the road ahead of the parade and reopening it once the parade has passed. So it's not going to be, that entire area is not going to be closed for
the
long
entire time. Right.
Yeah. Motorists are just asked to exercise caution when they're driving in Georgetown on Saturday. Remember, it's our children on the road.
It's true.
So let's be careful.
And if you by chance happen to be within this vicinity of the route at any point in time, I would implore persons to just leave a little earlier.
Absolutely.
So that even when your area or your block is closed, that you're not trying to move out of the way because I got late, or I witnessed that last week.
Let's try to plan ahead.
The cars were just trying to get out because I guess time caught up on them.
Yeah.
So just be cognizant of that. Try to get out of the blocks early enough so that you don't have to ask these little kids who are all amped and ready to move out of the way for you to move to get through when the road's already blocked.
Yeah.
Can you recap any main points you would like to leave for the listening audience this morning? I mean, we covered a lot today.
Covered a lot. Yeah, I mean, I think that the main point that I'm taking away is just that, we're seeing some good benefits and some good results from the police and community cooperation. In no way do we take these crime statistics to mean that, it's all about the police, or the police have done some great job and they don't have to do. I mean, really, this is about just looking at the sorts of things that are going on in the society and what it points to.
Right.
And for us, I think what we see here is the need to address some of the recidivism, because we see that when people get out of prison, there can be a crime spike, and these numbers won't be sustainable unless we start to address some of those issues that come up, and that we need to keep working together. And I think that we're just on the tip of what could be like a really good potential for even more safety in the environment. So I think that there's some positive messages there.
Now, it's one thing to highlight the fact that when they're released from prison, you see where certain crimes are spiked. What is causing them to reoffend? Are they finding that it's more comfortable to be incarcerated than to just come back and try to create some sense of normalcy?
I don't know how to answer that question.
Well, at least you were honest. But I mean, I think this is where the big problem is.
Yeah.
If you're finding that comfort by committing crimes and pretty much, I don't care, I just want to be caught, then there's a serious underlying problem.
Well, that could be part of it. It also could be just around having more rehabilitative services in place for people who are getting out of jail so that they can more easily transition into a life that doesn't involve crime.
Right.
But I think that those are bigger questions about the drivers of crime.
Right.
And I think that, we as the police, we have a job to do.
Right.
And we go and do our job as best we can. But really,
you commit the crime, you're here to do your job.
We're here to, but the thing is, we do have other things in place. We've got some diversionary things for juveniles. We've got the adult cautions. I mean, we are trying to look at a way of handling crime in a way that helps people long term. Because if you have a youngster who is convicted of something and can't go abroad to go to school, that really puts them down a certain path.
It's true.
And really, then at the end of the day, that doesn't serve all of us.
Exactly.
So, we're trying to look at things holistically. But we need the other elements of society to work with us, and it has been happening. The community has been working with us. So I'm optimistic, but it is an issue that probably needs some better evaluation of what's really like a study, like some research about what happens with people when they get out of prison and why do they reoffend. I think because we're all guessing. Like Jody said, we don't know.
Yeah.
We're just going to guess, but I think that some research would be helpful, really. Yeah.
Jody, what would you like to leave?
I just want to encourage and applaud the relationship that we've been building over the past few years, especially with the development of our new community policing department, that relationship with the public. And I want to say that even if you don't have interpersonal skills or you don't want to be interpersonal with the police, there are several avenues for you to get in contact with us. On our website, we have a submit a tip. On there, not only can you send us information, but you can send us pictures and videos as well, uploaded from the app or the website. It goes directly to our department, and we dispense it to the relative departments that require that information. Also, if you don't have a report, if you have a complaint, if you have a suggestion, or you just want to say something to us, we also have a feedback option on our website. You can send us a feedback and let us know. You can choose to be contacted or not. It's up to you. And I do just want to encourage people to utilize these apps and get to know us, and let's try to build and keep building that relationship.
Ladies, it's always a pleasure. Looking forward to whatever is next for us to discuss when we come back. And again, as I said, this is the second Thursday of every month. You can expect the RCIPS here to give us updates and some very interesting topics, keeping us in the know and always informed. Ladies, have a wonderful day. Congratulations. I know you got your work cut out for you today for the graduation.
Thank you.
And welcoming those 22, is it?
23
new recruits.
New police constables.
Yeah, so follow them on social media, and I'm quite sure you'll see the pictures coming out later on today. It has been a pleasure and all the best.
Thank you. Thank you.
Radio Cayman Business Buzz is proudly sponsored by Cayman Medical Supplies. Give them a call, 949-6211, and also by Cayman Insurance Center, celebrating 45 years in the Cayman Islands, specializing in property, life, and other lines of insurance products and services. It has been my pleasure. Thank you, Susan, being the producer of the show, and also manning the boards this morning. Until Tuesday, have a safe and fabulous Thursday.
Business Buzz is proudly sponsored by insurance agents Michael Webster and Denise Brown from Cayman Insurance Center, specializing in life and property insurance. Don't take chances with your family's future.
Shaken yet standing firm. This is Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands.